Shane here this morning to launch the Gala Dinner. You're looking forward to the evening and to the celebration and getting together with old friends?
Yeah, very much so. It's funny, 10 years, it doesn't seem as long as that, but yeah, no, it'll be great now. There's lots of interest from the players and obviously from a lot of supporters and public and friends of Leinster Rugby, so it's going to be a good night, and it's going to be great to catch up with friends that I haven't seen in a while.
Proceeds obviously from the night going towards the Centre of Excellence project, but also a charity that's very close to the team of 2009's heart.
Yeah, very much so. It's great that we can help out with the Centre of Excellence, like you said, but more importantly to give to Cullen Children's Hospital. A few of us are pushing on now, and we're probably have young children, so we understand the importance, and it's such a great place, and we're delighted that we'll be able to contribute to it.
2009, looking back on it, apart from the final maybe, what was the standout memory?
Probably the semi-final in Croker. It was a huge occasion. It was a huge occasion for the team, the squad, for Leinster Rugby because of what had happened in previous years in Lansdowne Road, and it was a kind of a statement for everybody that such a huge occasion, great crowd from both supporters, and it was a great game. And when you look back at that season, there was a lot of good games, and I think that's something that was probably reflected in the final as well. It was an incredible game, and we were lucky we were part of a few good games throughout that campaign, so all positive memories, thank God.
The win itself obviously was driven by a lot of people who come through the Leinster Rugby system, but obviously huge impact of some of those foreign lads like Isa Nathewa, Rocky Elsom, obviously the impact of those lads over the season and I suppose over that first win.
Yeah, not just in the Heineken campaign, that had a huge influence in the whole year, and previous to that the guys like Chris Whitaker came around, Stan Wright came in, CJ had come in. We had really good foreigners that bought in. They weren't from Dublin, they weren't from Ireland, they weren't from Leinster, and yet they really bought into what we were about and what we would try to achieve, and they added value. And I think everybody talks about Rocky and the unbelievable season he had, justifiably, but we had a lot of other good guys. Isa had a great season, Chris Whitaker had such a huge influence lifting the trophy with Leo, and they're a great bunch of lads that came in, and as good times we had on the pitch, we had great times off the pitch with them as well. So I think we're looking forward to catching up with those guys more than anybody.
You mentioned there Leo Cullen, obviously you know him well from your time with Leinster, but obviously 2 years away in Leicester. A word about Leo as a captain, as a player, as a leader, and obviously he's kicked on to great things as a coach now with Leinster.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see the success that he's had in his time as a coach, and in his infancy really in coaching, having come straight from playing and being involved with Matt and coaching staff. It's incredible, and he deserves so much credit because he's built a good structure around him and brought guys in who are really added to the coaching staff and to what is Leinster. I remember as a player, the two of us looking over in England at Leinster and going, geez, we would like to get back there someday and be successful, and I think he's added just an incredible amount of desire, knowledge, playing ability when he was playing, and he's been here in the bad times when they weren't winning stuff, in the early days, and for him personally, his family, his mother and father have been nearly at every away game since God knows when, and it was just, you can't really single out one or two guys. I know you're asking about Leo, but it genuinely was a coaching staff, a backroom staff, the organisational staff, and the other side of the building. We all bought into it, and people worked hard, and the supporters got in, and we got out to the province. And I think it wasn't the start of it. It was kind of the initial stages. We'd worked very hard before that to get it there, but 2008 was just the start of winning the trophy with the Celtic League, and then 2009 obviously we had a great season, and it was just magic.
Finally, Shane, talk of maybe only one or two guys who can't make it because of work commitments, but as part of that then it's backroom staff, as you mentioned already. Michael Cheika obviously coming in. A word about Michael Cheika and his backroom staff. Obviously poor old Professor Arthur Tanner no longer with us, but the impact of Cheika, his coaching team and the staff on that overall season.
Yeah, it's funny, like the closer you get to the event you probably start remembering more the stories and the influences and the good times, but I think Cheika more than anybody, people get credit for being cultural architects or standard bearers. He was the standard bearer, and he was the person driving it. It came from the top down, and I think he drove Mick, and I think he drove the organisation as well as the playing staff and as well as the coaching staff, and he deserves so much credit. And like you said, the guys he brought in, we had good backroom staff and coaching, we had good medics, we had good physios, good S&C, and I think everybody was just hungry for success, and he more than anybody drove that. And I think what he laid as a foundation, Leinster have really kicked on since then with Joe and Leo and Matt and things like this. So yeah, he was really the impetus at the start that drove it and demanded standards out of players, out of coaches, out of everybody. And I look forward to catching up with him because he's had a tough old year in Australia and we have fond memories of him, so we want him to do well wherever he is.